Hello, everybody, and welcome to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. My name is Daniel Jackson. Happy New Year to everybody. And speaking of New Year, yesterday, Dr. John Henrik Clarke was born, January 1st, 1915. He is someone who I respect highly, and his discoveries and findings will always hold a special place in my heart. Now, Dr. John Henrik Clarke was a researcher. He was a historian and somewhat of an Egyptologist. He went and traveled to Africa and visited those pyramids quite a few times. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the reason he did this is because when he was a kid, like every black person, we want to know where we come from. And he grew up, I think, in the South here in America. And I think he asked his teacher, one of his teachers, where did black people come from? And the teacher told him, well, John, black people don't come from anywhere. Y'all history started with slavery. Now I'm paraphrasing based on what I remember. And so that obviously didn't sit well with him, because he went on his own personal trip to his own personal journey of discovery. And he found out all the wonders of Africa. You understand? So obviously, based on the information that he had, and the fact that we're melanated, just like the folks in Africa are, we look a whole bunch alike. So obviously, and our history books with the transatlantic slave trade and the out of Africa theory, all pushing that information in. We do have melanated people in Africa have a very rich history. You understand? So when you learn something like that as a black person, you become very proud of that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, hey, our history did not start with slavery. Well, again, Dr. John Henrik Clarke was a historian, a scientific historian. He broke down information and he dug into articles and books, resources, primary resources, and he found out what he found out. And I'm going to always respect him for that. But again, the journey of knowledge didn't end with him. It's time for us to pick up the mantle and take it further. The journey won't end with us. Our children who come behind us are going to pick up where we leave off and go further. I said that to say this. Dr. John Henrik Clarke was only able to gather what he could at the time before he passed. You understand what I'm saying? The out of Africa theory is flawed and it's inaccurate. Now, am I telling people that this man is flawed? No. Due to the system of racism, white supremacy, he was directed in the direction he was on purpose. You understand? He was not challenged a whole lot, because what he was discovering actually gave credence or credibility to the out of Africa theory, to the slave trade story. You understand what I'm saying? So he didn't actually challenge racism, white supremacy on that front. Some could say that he was actually used without knowing it, and a lot of us are. Now, I know I'm coming off as somebody who may seem blasphemous in this understanding of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, but no, he is somebody I highly, highly look up to. Will not ever take anything from this man. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, again, the journey didn't end with him, and it won't end with you and I. When we come across new information and facts, we have to follow those facts to one, if discredit them if they're not good facts, or bring those facts to the public if they are good facts. And that's where I'm at right now. I follow a fellow named Dane Calloway. He has a YouTube channel called I'm Just Here to Make You Think. And I was turned on to that video because his videos because someone mentioned to me that the transatlantic slave trade was told to us in reverse, and that we are Aboriginal Americans. And I thought that was strange, because here I know in my heart I'm an African American. I'm African. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? I must be mixed with white people, because I ain't like blue, black, or nothing like that. But I'm African. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what public education does. It indoctrinates the mind to push the people to believe a certain agenda. Okay. Now, so after someone put that bug in my ear, it just so happens that information started to come across my eyes and my mind, and I started doing research. And I'll be damned. Come to find out, yes, the transatlantic slave trade was not only told to us in reverse, it was a flat out cover story for a real slave trade. You understand what I'm saying? They took our people from here to Sierra Leone, West Africa, to Europe, to Spain, and to other parts of America. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the name of that slave trade, and I may put the name in the description, but you can pause this video and you can Google this for yourself. The name of that slave trade is this. I'm gonna Google it real quick because everybody should know this. It's the International Indigenous American Slave Trade. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to read this definition, and you could Google this yourself. But it says European colonies purchased indigenous peoples as slaves as part of the international indigenous American slave trade, which lasted from the 15th century. Now that's the 1400s until the 19th century, which is the 1800s. Okay, now you've never heard about this slave trade. In fact, they told us that Indians, who at that time they say was the indigenous people, which they were not, they were you and I, couldn't be enslaved. They fought, they run away, couldn't be found, couldn't take the heat, so they had to go get West African slaves. Now, again, this slave trade started the 1400s and lasted to the 1800s. The transatlantic slave trade supposedly started in 1619. You know, almost 200 years after this, and lasted way longer. But you never seen any Indians on those slave ships, have you? You only saw black and brown people. That's because that was a lie. The transatlantic slave trade was a cover story for this slave trade. You see what I'm saying? It's information like this that Dr. John Henrik Clarke, because of the system of racism, white supremacy, was not allowed to see. You understand what I'm saying? He was misdirected. His focus was on Africa. He was not focusing on home, in which America is the home for black Americans, for Aboriginal Americans. You know, and I do teach. My information will be in the description. And you can get this started on this journey for a very nominal price. You understand? I'll lead you. I'll present to you the information that was presented to me. You know, and then after getting some more information, I talked to my family members, you know, and I learned that, and this things I did not know growing up. My grandparents are from Arkansas, or were from Arkansas. They both passed. And come to find out, on my grandfather's side, we're Blackfoot Indian, and on my grandmother's side, we're Sioux Indian. Again, I didn't know anything about this growing up, you know. And the reason I came to this conclusion, and well, this information, not a conclusion, but I talked to my oldest living relatives who still exist. My mama's passed and my grandparents passed, so I had no choice but to talk to at the time, 4 uncles and aunties that are still living. Two, the youngest ones was you know, a male and a female, my auntie, and 2 oldest ones was the same, a male and a female. Not that that's important. But anyway, I talked to the 2 youngest aunties and uncles, and they didn't have any personal knowledge of Indian history, Indian heritage in our family. And I talked to the 2 oldest ones, and they knew absolutely everything. The name of the reservation that they spent time on when they was very little. It's amazing, right? And so I called my auntie because I was confused as to why you and your older brother know this information, but your 2 younger brothers and sisters don't. And so my auntie told me, she said, well, my oldest brother, who was an excellent swimmer, I mean, he liked swimming so much in the wintertime, he would bust open ice at the lake just to swim. So he was very skilled at swimming. But anyway, he let slip to white folks that he was Indian. They hung him, killed him, and threw him in the river. His sister right up under him let slip that she was Indian, and a couple of grown men raped her and left her for dead. So my grandmother nutted the fuck up. She just she didn't talk to tell the other young kids none about this. So I understand that. Come to find out, after I found out about that, then I'm digging more and I'm learning even more. It was a flat out death sentence for black and brown people to say that they were Aboriginal or Indian here in America. Please research the Racial Integrity Act. Research Walter Pleckler. You understand? So yeah, this information was a death sentence for our people, because the bottom denominator is this: we are the only true Americans. We are the only true Americans. We are Aboriginal Americans. As a matter of fact, the definition of American in the year 1828. I'm gonna Google that definition real quick for you. You know, because it's just that important, people. And I got on this story. I'm telling you this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm disrespecting the memory and research of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, because I am not. In fact, I'm praising him, and I believe if he was still alive, he would continue what he was doing when he was here. We can no longer continue to follow down the rabbit hole of alive white supremacy. We can no longer do that. Okay. Now this is the definition. It says 1828 is the year. Definition of American. I'm gonna read it. It says American, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals. That means the very first people. That means the people who come from the dirt. Aboriginal, original, or copper-colored races. If you found a penny, it would match the color of the back of your hand, guaranteed. No matter what color brown you is, we range from very light-skinned, damn near white, to blue-black, mahogany. Our hair ranges from straight and loosely to Kintinati, and it has nothing to do with mixing with any Europeans. We've always been this way. This definition was from the year 1828, which means this definition of the people, explorers like Christopher Columbus and people before and after him came, they described us, the people who they saw when they came here. So there was a lot of raping, and this is the reason black folks in America are more of a lighter browner color than perhaps some of the people in Africa. No. Again, we were described way back then. We are just a distinct phenotype of melanated people. No disrespect to any of my African melanated brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? We are a different breed, so to speak, of melanated people. Just like you have different breeds of rabbits, and cats and dogs, you know what I'm saying? And not all cats came from one cat. Not all dogs came from one dog. See, that those type of things are racist constructs, because Europeans want us to believe in the religious story that everybody came from Adam and Eve. Again, all bullshit. All bullshit. The Bible is a book. It's not a history book at all. It is a book of stories and allegories and ways to explain things that are very complex to childlike people. I'll give you an example. The story where God created man. He took the clay of the earth and he blew life into it. But the Bible will have you thinking he did that one time. But no. Life was created on this planet. Everybody came from the dirt where they are from. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the closest examples that you can come to today is our brothers and sisters, our melanated brothers and sisters in Australia. That landmass produced Aboriginal Australians. These folks have strong features, woolly curly hair, They did not mix with any Neanderthals, because that's bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Neanderthal is a construct that white people made up to try to explain where they come from, because they don't want to believe the fact that they actually are a genetic defect of melanated people. They have albinism. They're albinos. Two blue black Africans can produce an all-white child called an albino. Fact. You understand? Didn't mean to go off on that tangent. But we have to start to look at the facts of things and no longer be confined by these old racist stories that hold us back. Please understand. Okay? But anyway, I'm going to finish reading this definition. A native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. And this last sentence is important. But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. And here's the definition, in case you think I'm just saying some shit. American, and now the native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races founded by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Now, why is that last sentence so worth remembering? Well, this definition tells you all the fuck you need to know about what the fuck it is that's been going on. Black Aboriginal Americans' identity has been stolen. This definition points it out clearly. Clearly. When white people came here, or when Europeans came here, and I say Europeans for a reason, we all think that Europeans were all white people. You know, continent of Europe, the whole area of Europe was all white people, and it was not. The continent of Europe, just like the continent of America, and just like the continent of Africa and Australia, all majority melanated people. From the beginning is what I'm trying to tell you. Life starting out on this planet had to be melanated because the sun energizes melanated people, but it kills albinos. It gives them skin cancer. So they couldn't have started out white. No. White people came about because of the ice age that took place over, I think they want to say tens of thousands of years or 10,000 years up in the European area, where you had this huge overcast, like clouds, and so the sun couldn't penetrate, so therefore you had those areas are very cold, icy. In that environment where the sun rays are not getting through, you have less vitamin D getting through to melanated people. So if those melanated people are having albino babies, the melanated babies are going to be affected, with bone issues and stuff like that. But the albinos are going to start to multiply and increase because they will thrive in that environment. Scientifically, this is supported. That's all I'm going to say. Now, so in Europe, again, melanated continents, all melanated people, and there's documents to prove this. But the albinos started to increase in numbers as well. So what the Europeans did, the white Europeans did, the albino Europeans did in Europe, they overtook the identity of the black Europeans. Identity theft took place in Europe first that we know of, or that I can prove. And then they came here to America. The black Europeans and the white Europeans, they worked together, so to speak, because the black Europeans were in very low-level positions. A lot of them was almost like slaves themselves, or just low on the totem pole. Very poor people, the downtrodden of Europe. A lot of them lived in Ireland, Scotland. German was heavily populated with melanated people. Anyway, so stole the identity of the black Europeans, and then they came here to America and have pulled off the very same thing. This definition tells you all you need to know about that. It says the last sentence, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. When white people see another race of people, they always get upset and they say, well, you need to go back where you come from. You don't belong here. Like this shit belongs to them. No, they are foreigners. They are descendants of foreigners. They don't belong here. And every other group of people, when you call them American, you put something in front of it. Chinese American, African American, Japanese American. But you never hear white people called European Americans. That's because they're trying to steal our identity. And they've already stole our resources, a lot of them, you know. So what I'm saying is, people, we need to, for lack of better words, you know, we really need to get over ourselves. Don't be so afraid of new information. I would say go out your way to discredit the information. Dig into it, please. And if you find the flaws, bring out the flaws. Because I've done a whole lot of researching on this fact, and I've talked to people in my own family, and it's been verified. You'll do the same. You'll find likewise. I talk to probably on average about a good number of people per week, and I'll go out in public and I'll ask. I say, excuse me, ma'am or sir, I don't mean to disturb you, but where you from? Where your people from? I mean, your grandmama and them, going way back. And they'll tell me. And I'll simply say, have you heard any rumors that you might have Indian in your family? 90% of them be like, yeah, I've heard that rumor. That's because it's not a fucking rumor. It's a goddamn fact. It's a fact that was a death sentence to our people. You know? Here on the continent of the United States, the first slavery, well, the first flat out chattel slavery, well, let me back up. The first slavery was indentured servitude. The Europeans who I just told you about, the black Europeans, they were sent over here as indentures. Some of them was given land near Indian territory to set up plantations. So yes, a lot of our very first slave owners were Europeans. They were black Europeans. They had less of a problem setting up plantations next to Indians because we're both melanated. We look alike. Where something white people couldn't pull off right away. You see. So, and I know all of this is sounding weird to a whole bunch of y'all. And trust me, I get that. But I'm simply here just chopping it up with you. I'm observing Dr. John Henrik Clarke's birthday. And I will be observing his birthday every year from going forward, the first day of the year. But also to let you know that his work doesn't stop. His work continues through you and I. He was a truth seeker. You too must be a truth seeker. You don't cut down people who's trying to bring facts or unknown information to the table. No, you listen to those facts and you dissect them. You go through them to see how valid or invalid they are. You don't discredit anyone. You do the work. You do the work. And once the new information is considered valid, you stand on that information and you go forward. You understand what I'm saying? We as black people, we too quick to go at each other. But that's simply a knee-jerk reaction to our mental bondage of racism and white supremacy. You know, no more infighting. It's unproductive, it's unnecessary, and it's predictable. Okay? Now, so I've covered a few points. Oh, something else I want to go into, and I may have mentioned it earlier. I don't know if I did or didn't. But anyway, the reason Dr. John Henrik Clarke thought that all black life came from Africa is for the same reason everybody thought it. In Ethiopia, they found the jawbone of a Homo sapien, which they figured dated 2.8 million years going back. So therefore, that's the oldest human bone found. So therefore, life must have started there. But you have not taken into account that on any other continent, no one has dug down 2.8 million years to see what's going on. They don't allow excavations here in America. And they damn sure don't allow excavations near the pyramids in South America. Do you know we have pyramids that are bigger, better built, and older than the pyramids in Africa? Did you know that? Just Google it. It's there. You understand? We all have become comfortable with the fact that saying, yeah, there were black people here in America, but they must have been Africans who came before Christopher Columbus, and that's just not the case. We've always been here. This is home for us. This is our continent. You understand what I'm saying? So my goal and hope is that I've said something to you or mentioned something to you that makes you think a little differently. You know, so that you can get into this battle, this fight we are in. Because, again, this for us is home. Black Aboriginal Americans own what they now call the United States of America, which it is not the United States of America. That is simply an illegal corporation operating on our soil. There are two Americas. There's black America and there's racist white America. Period. And we have been at war since 1493. The Roman Catholic Church, 6 months or so after Christopher Columbus first started enslaving our people, the Roman Catholic Church put the stamp of approval on it, gave Christopher Columbus in Spain the go-ahead to enslave, to rape, pillage, and even murder our people who supposedly don't take on Christianity as their religion. See what I'm saying? So that war was never undeclared. And that's why our people are being killed in the streets by the police. You know, we're misrepresented in prisons. There's so many of us in there, it's ridiculous. Our children are being killed wholesale. And the government does nothing about it because the government is explicit in these crimes. We are under a seriously racist regime called the United States of America. Here's proof of that. White militia causes all kind of hell at state buildings throughout the United States in the last couple of weeks. Armed to the teeth, fist fighting folks, burning Black Lives Matter flags, taking them off of churches. No one's arrested. Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC goes to South Georgia to see why no one has been arrested in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Black masculine protective male energy stood up and asked the question, what the fuck is going on? This racist white government, shaking in a fucking boots, said we cannot have this. These motherfuckers, 30 days after that display in South Georgia, created a task force. William Barr's Attorney General's Task Force Against Violent Anti-Governmental Extremism is what that task force is called. That is a racist governmental attack against masculine protective male energy. That attack is on all black people, especially black men. So I'm going to need all black men to get in this fight, to stand behind Grandmaster Jay, to support his legal defense fund financially, to use our social media posts to spread the biggest fucking light as we can on this racist governmental action of creating a racist task force against black men. Because that's all the fuck it is. They did the same thing on these plantations. When a black buck, we call him a buck, stands up to try to protect his people, they take him, make a public example of him, and kill him in front of everybody. That kills the protective masculine male energy in all the rest of the males. It also tells the females that she has no male protection from her man. And as a protective mechanism, she's going to hold her babies closer to her. She's going to make them submissive. So submissive, it's like a wild horse is going to teach her children to eat out of the hands of the very creature that's enslaving her. She now is going to bug break her children for them. Do y'all see how sick this fucking system is? And that's why on every one of my videos going forward, in the description, you will see Dr. Francis Cress Welson's video, The Cress Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism, White Supremacy. Because for us, we all need to know what this system is, how it operates, and how we need to maneuver going forward. We are at war, and this war will only end when we all stand up against it. Racism, white supremacy cannot stand up to being with a spotlight shined on it. It operates best when it's incognito. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we need to do, shine a light on it. As biggest lights as we can, which is our social media post. Okay? And our financial funds. And also too, I did see a video by Grandmaster Jay earlier, I think it was a couple of days ago. His restrictions have been loosened up, so he's able to do his the things he do on social media that he did before. which are very educational to our people. So please support his broadcast, and again, stand behind him for this court case. We're now going to put our United States government on trial. You see what I'm saying? I studied judo as a kid, and I learned that when you have a bigger opponent than you, you use their strengths against them. Here's an example. If both of y'all grab each other, what you do is you push that person a little bit, and then when they push back, you go with the push, and you able to roll the person over, and y'all both get on the ground, and you could pummel that fella. You see what I'm saying? So this is what we're gonna do. They want to put someone who stood up for his people on trial and try to take away his freedom and liberty. We're gonna use this exposure to put them motherfuckers on trial. It's time out for the bullshit. There will be no buck breaking of any other men, black men in America. And everybody who is an influencer, it is your responsibility. Because if you're a man, you are a protective, black, masculine man. If we allow this to happen to one of our people, it can happen to all of our people. They come for one of us, they come for all of us. You hear me? And that's the way it's going to be going forward. And anybody who's weak and scared and afraid of this government, you ain't helping your people. Search your heart. Find your balls. Stand the fuck up, black man. Stand the fuck up, black woman. Because your children are looking at you. Your children going to know how you responding right now. Do you want them to be cowards going forward? I just told you, the ground under your feet belongs to them. It's time to stand up. Time to stand up. All right, with that being said, I hope nobody misunderstood anything I said. I'm a fan. I'm a student of Dr. John Henrik Clarke. You understand what I'm saying? Because his first works gave me pride in who I was. But I've learned different, then I must follow different. No disrespect to this great ancestor. You know, and I'm hoping all of you will do your part to research. And don't be afraid. You know, here's what I think most people need to hear. If white people told it to you, discount it. If white people told it to you and they stand behind that shit, discount it. Check it out. Go find out. Because your enemy ain't going to tell you nothing that's going to benefit you. Not a goddamn thing. And if they do tell you something that's contrary to them, they're going to find a way to pervert it. You feel what I'm saying? That's called common fucking sense. Common fucking sense. So let's start using our common sense, people. And let's get in this fight. Okay? And on that note, I am going to get off of this video. But please, if I've said anything that makes sense to you, watch Dr. Francis Crest's video that's going to be in the description. Join Curry Meal Aha's YouTube channel. Subscribe to Dane Calloway's YouTube channel. Because these people, these are some awesome researchers. I mean, these fellas, that's what they was put here to do. And you were put here for a reason too. You feel what I'm saying? But just get educated on this new stuff to see what's what. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to discern this information. You know, don't follow anybody blindly. Not me, not Dane Calloway, not Kurimi Aha, not John Henrik Clarke. You know, nobody. Listen to them all. Get all the information from all the sources necessary, and then you put the pieces together. You will come up with the right conclusion. I guarantee you. You understand what I'm saying? But if you've learned anything, if anything makes sense to you, subscribe to this channel, like this channel, share this channel, hit the bell to be notified, and then click the all so that you are notified when I make a new video or go live. But it's very important. And also too, I'll leave my Cash App information in the description so that, you know, you can help me to continue to make videos like this and get you more, you know, apt to want to know this stuff. Now, I wish somebody would have told me this stuff so I could cut my learning curve in half. And I do, what is it? The information that I was turned on to, I can give it to you for $49. And it's just videos. It's about, I'm thinking about 70, 80 hours of videos. Or for $199, you can join my coaching program. we meet for 4 weeks, 1 day a week. The information is given to you. You go through the information, and we come back, we talk about it, you get more information. The reason I do the coaching program is because this information, it challenges who you thought you were. So when you start to see this information and start going through it, your old self is going to die. Your old understanding of yourself is going to die. And I don't know if you've ever had a death in your family where you know, somebody who was important to you, like your mother, your father. But when you die, you go through the 5 stages of grief. And I'm going to look up those stages because I went through them and didn't even know I was going through them when my mother passed. But I didn't recognize I was having these same feelings when this information was challenging the old theories, like the old out of Africa theory, or all black people come from Africa. And when I start to, it makes sense that, hey, we are from right here, the continent of America. But anyway, those 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So my coaching program is going to help you blow through these 5 stages of grief because you have someone you can talk to about it. Matter of fact, a whole group of people. And you know, me, I didn't have anybody, so it may have set me back by a couple of months. Because again, when you challenging someone's belief in who the fuck they is, their identity, and then that identity is 100%, it's like, damn, you know, you have died. A part of you is no longer around. Now, that part of you have died has been replaced with something stronger and better, but you didn't have to waste all that time in that downtime in those 5 stages. You understand me? You speed up the grieving process. You still will grieve. You're still going to go through the 5 phases of grief, but it'll be shortened. That make any sense to you? It'll be shortened, okay? But anyway, my email address will be in the description so that if you want to take advantage of the $49 or the $199 one, you know, just drop me an email. You know what I'm saying? On that note, I want to end this broadcast. And again, Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. Join, subscribe to the channel, do like, share, and hit the bell and the all to be notified. Thanks.